Winner take all, Game 7, Stanley Cup Final. I know you've played it out on the streets, maybe in the mini hockey arena, or certainly on the PlayStation, but here we get to see it unfold for real. I can't be more excited. I'm going to assume the same of you, so let's eat up here this quick pregame meal ahead of puck drop, 6 o'clock tonight on Ched. So Darnell Nurse at the end of Game 6 says, "This is where the momentum stops." And Matthias Janmark basically follows that up, saying that there's a new identity, if you will, to each individual Game 7. So what can we expect tonight? Well, let's go back in history and maybe paint a bit of a picture here and see if we can't forecast what ultimately is going to be a total crapshoot, as we know. But 17 times the Stanley Cup Final has gone to a Game 7 in the history of the NHL. The home team, Oilers fans, I regret to tell you, is 12-5 in those 17 games. So advantage Florida in that respect. But having said that, Edmonton this year is now 5-0 when facing elimination, and Connor McDavid in particular with 11 points in those 5 elimination games, more than 2 points a game. It's been incredible watching him rise to the occasion, certainly, and this is one of the best records for any team in NHL history when facing elimination in a postseason. It's one thing to prove to yourself year over year that you can get the job done. It's another entirely, in my opinion, to be doing it in these same playoffs against quality competition. And we know that 3 of those wins came against this very same Florida Panthers team who've been struggling in games, 4 through 7 to beat Stuart Skinner, just like everybody else has in these playoffs as well. The man is 10-0 with a .940 save percentage in these elimination games. He is at his best when it matters the most, and he's going to need to be tonight against a Florida team set to play in front of a crowd of nearly 20,000, and of course, on home ice, that's where you want the cup handed out. I am a little bit curious what the ice conditions are going to be in Florida. We saw the puck bouncing around all over the place in Game 5, and that's not to Edmonton's advantage. That's to the advantage of a team that chips the puck in like Florida does and goes and tries to run your defenseman through the end wall. Edmonton wants a nice, clean playing surface, snapping the puck around, particularly to get the power play, performing where it can be and as impactful as it can be. But we know what kind of an effort it requires, even with the building maintenance staff, to get that rink at the right humidity and the ice cool enough. And so I hope that there's been a real concerted effort made in order to make sure that ice is premium. Maybe not quite Rogers Place level. I don't know that many rinks in the league are, but certainly better than it was the last time, regardless of what the weather in Miami is like. Now, I mentioned the power play. The penalty kill has really been the story, other than McDavid, let's say, of the whole playoffs. 46 of 47 killed off now. They've managed to kill 18 of 19 in the Stanley Cup Final alone. So it is an absolute momentum swinger. And you speak about momentum not really carrying over from one game to the next, and that might be true. But I would like to think that Edmonton coming in with 3 consecutive wins versus 3 consecutive losses lends itself to a looser atmosphere that might ultimately help propel this group to a win. Everyone there was wearing a t-shirt and shorts for the final practice of the year. It looks like it's nice and loose in the room, which is exactly where you want it to be ahead of a game with these circumstances tied to it. Let's wrap it here, because what more needs to be said about Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final? I hope you get a chance to head downtown Edmonton and check it out there, but if not, certainly we'll have all the coverage for you on 6:30 Ched. It starts with Oilers now at 2. Puck drop tonight just after 6 down in Sunrise. Enjoy.